You care too much about what people think of you, about whether you said the right thing, about that text message you sent 3 hours ago that still hasn't been read, about outcomes you can't control, about people who aren't thinking about you at all. And that caring, that constant, exhausting caring about everything is the thing that's draining you. Not the situation, the caring. There's a reason the ancient Stoics spent 2,000 years teaching people to care less. Not because they were cold, not because they didn't feel, but because they understood something most people never figure out. The less you care about the wrong things, the more energy you have for the things that actually matter. Today, we're going to break down why caring less isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing you can do. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stop caring about and what to hold on to. Let's start with what nobody tells you about caring too much. Caring is sold to us as a virtue, and in many cases it is. Caring about your family, caring about your work, caring about doing the right thing. That's real. That matters. But there's a version of caring that isn't virtuous at all. It's compulsive, it's anxious, and it's completely misdirected. Caring what strangers think of your appearance. Caring whether your coworker's tone in that email meant something personal. Caring about a future that hasn't happened yet and probably never will. Caring about being perfect in a world that doesn't reward perfection. It rewards resilience. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote something that cuts straight to the core of this. You love yourself more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Read that again. We love ourselves more than anyone, but we hand our peace of mind to people who aren't even thinking about us. That's the trap, and most of us are living inside it without realizing. Now, before we go further, let's be clear about something important. Caring less is not the same as not caring at all. That's apathy, and apathy is a dead end. What the Stoics practiced was something very different. They called it apatheia. Not apathy in the modern sense, but freedom from destructive passions. Freedom from the anxiety that comes from attaching your peace to things outside your control. Think of it this way. Apathy says nothing matters. Detachment says many things matter, but I choose which ones get my energy. One is giving up. The other is waking up. The Stoics weren't numb. They were selective. And that selectivity, that deliberate choice about what deserves your emotional investment, is what gives you power. So, what should you stop caring about? Let's get specific. Number 1, other people's opinions of you. This is the single biggest drain of human energy that exists. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was born a slave, said, "If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, 'He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone.'" That's not arrogance, that's freedom. Someone's opinion of you is a reflection of their perspective, not your value. And trying to manage everyone's perception of you is a full-time job with no salary and no end date. Stop applying. Number 2, things that haven't happened yet. Seneca wrote, and this might be his most powerful line, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Think about how much of your anxiety is about the future. The job interview that might go badly, the relationship that might not work, the economy that might crash. You're spending real emotional energy on imaginary outcomes. And the cruel irony is, most of the things we worry about never happen. But the worrying itself, that was real. That cost you sleep. That cost you presence. That cost you joy. Stoicism teaches, deal with what is, not with what might be. Number 3, being right all the time. This one is harder to let go of than people realize.
We invest enormous energy in proving we were right, in arguments, in decisions, in predictions. But Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." Having no opinion isn't ignorance. It's choosing not to exhaust yourself over battles that don't change your life. Calm. Let go of the need to be right. Hold on to the willingness to learn. Number 4. The past. You cannot change what already happened. You can replay it. You can analyze it. You can build a case for what should have been different. But none of that changes a single fact. Remember, Epictetus taught, it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. The calm. The event is over. What's still alive is your story about it. And that story is the only part you have power over. Warm. You can choose to let it define you, or you can choose to let it go. Serious. That's not denial. That's the most honest thing you can do, because holding on to the past is the real delusion. Number 5. What you can't control. This is the foundation of everything the Stoics ever taught. Calm. There are things within your power and things that are not. Your thoughts, your effort, your character, your response. Those are yours. Other people's behavior, the weather, the economy, whether someone loves you back. Those are not. And every minute you spend caring about the second list is a minute stolen from the first. Reflective. Seneca said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power to not want what they don't have and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have." Warm. That's not resignation. That's the most strategic use of your finite energy imaginable. So what actually happens when you start caring less about the wrong things? The Stoics were clear about this, and modern psychology confirms it. Warm. First, your anxiety drops dramatically. Most anxiety comes from trying to control outcomes you were never going to control. When you release that, your nervous system calms down. Not because the world changed, but because your relationship to it did. Warm. Second, your relationships improve. When you stop needing other people to validate you, you start showing up as a whole person instead of a half person looking for completion. That's more attractive, more trustworthy, more real. Serious. Third, you become harder to manipulate. If you've watched our videos on narcissistic abuse and gaslighting, you know that manipulators exploit your attachments. They use what you care about against you. When you care less about their approval, their power over you disappears. That's not coldness, that's self-defense. Calm. And fourth, you gain clarity about what actually matters. When you stop spending energy on noise, you suddenly have bandwidth for signal. Your health, your growth, your purpose, the people who genuinely love you. Those things were always there. You just couldn't see them through the fog of caring about everything else. So how do you actually practice this? Here are 3 Stoic exercises you can start today. Exercise 1. The morning filter. Every morning, before you check your phone, ask yourself, what am I going to encounter today that is not in my control? And can I accept that in advance? Marcus Aurelius did this every single morning. He wrote, "When you wake up, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, and deceitful." That wasn't pessimism, it was preparation. It meant nothing could catch him off guard. Exercise 2. The opinion audit. Once a week, write down every opinion you held strongly that week. Then ask, was this opinion mine, or was I carrying someone else's expectation? You'll be surprised how much of what you stress about was never your burden to carry. Calm. Exercise 3. the evening release. Every night, identify one thing you cared about today that was outside your control. Name it, acknowledge it, and consciously let it go. Over time, this practice trains your mind to default to detachment instead of attachment. It's not a switch, it's a muscle, and the Stoics trained it daily. Here's what I want you to take from this. Caring is not the problem. Caring about the wrong things is. And the moment you learn to redirect that energy from what you can't control to what you can, everything shifts. Reflective. You don't become cold, you become free. You don't stop feeling, you stop bleeding over things that were never worth the wound.
Marcus Aurelius ran an empire, and every night he reminded himself to let go of what wasn't his to carry. If the most powerful man on earth needed that reminder, so do you, and so do I. If this resonated, check out our full Stoicism breakdown. We've also covered the psychology of manipulation, narcissistic abuse, and the dark triad, all connected to why letting go is the ultimate form of self-protection. Links are below. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.